happened, which is a really funny, cool story, and I love telling it, how I got into professional wrestling because I grew up watching it, and I kind of fell off for a while, but I used to go watch indie shows all the time at WLW and go see Harley. I have a friend named Mark Davis that knew all those guys really well, so he was always out doing all that, and always kind of wanted to get into it, but I didn't know how, and so I never got a chance. My kids grew up, moved out, graduated, moved on, started having their own kids. And I won my last championship a couple of years ago. And I pulled into a parking lot and I sat there and I said, God, I don't want to play football anymore. I said, I don't know what I want to do.
Yeah.
I said, I could go back to building my classic cars. I don't want to go back to being a regular person because I'm not a regular person. I feel like I got more to give. I said, whatever it is, just give it to me now. Let's go. I'll run with it. Just throw it at me. Let's go. And I left it at that, just my own little personal time with me and God. And so that next weekend coming up was Father's Day weekend. And me and my son was supposed to go to an ICWF show in Republic. And I went out for a work. I went worked out, whatever, and I come home. He didn't want to go, and so I was like, you know what? I almost didn't go. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to treat myself then. I'm just going to go. It's Father's Day weekend. I'm just going to go myself.
That's right.
Went and bought the last front row ticket. Went in there, got my piece of pizza and my soda, sat down on the front row, and I go to take a bite of my pizza, and I look up, and everybody's staring at me, and I'm like, what is going on? I look over and I see security staring at me. I look over and I see what I guess was their general manager at the time staring at me. I'm talking right through me.
Yeah.
And on the other side of the rail started laughing at me, and he's like, "You look like you should be one of the guys over here on the other side of the rail wrestling." And everybody's talking, and I'm like, whatever. And so um, I sit there and I watch the show. I'm having a great time. Intermission happens. I get up and I go over to at the time the owner, and I introduced myself. I didn't know he was the owner, and I said, "I'm Joe Helms. Nice to meet you. I'm having a really great time. Thank you." And I went and sat down. Never said another word to him. And I guess he was talking to his wife. So the staring commenced to happen, whatever. And so the show's over. I leave, go home. The very next day, I'm at the gym telling everybody how much of a good time I'd had, blah, blah, blah. At that moment, I get a message on Facebook, and it's the owner of the ICWF. And he's like, hey, it took me a minute to figure out who you were, but once I did, he said, I would like to offer you a spot in our battle royal in August the 28th, 15-man battle royal as a special guest because he saw that I played for the Insane Asylum. And I messaged him back and I said, only since I was 12. So he invited me down to the training facility, and I went in there, and of course I had to get blood work and all that stuff just so I could get in the ring and train with the guys because how Missouri is.
Yeah.
And it took a couple of weeks, but I was still training football because we still had a national championship to play. And so I was training. I ended up started training football um, early mornings on Saturday, about from like seven. It was like no, it was 8 to 10. I'd go home, shower, and go train in the ring for 5 hours.
Oh, wow.
About my life sucked at that point because I'd never been in the ring, and football shape and ring shape is two totally different things. Okay, so I noticed people gave The Rock a bunch of crap because he didn't come back this year, and because he said, "Well, I'm not in the shape that I need to be," and to look at him, he looks phenomenal. Guys, give him some slack because there's a huge difference between lifting weights in the gym shape than getting in that ring and working out shape.